Notochord is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development in some animals, which notochords are called. Animals with notochord are called chordates. Those animals which do not form this, such are called as non-chordates. Example, Porifera to echinoderms. So notochord is a mesodermally derived structure. When we studied triploblastic condition, germ layers, we studied outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm. So here this mesoderm is the region from where the notochord is derived from. The animals with notochords are called as chordates, and the one without the notochord are called as the non-chordates. Notochord is a very important striking characteristic feature for classification of animals into vertebrates and invertebrates. Classification of animals. This I think we have already studied, and this is the outline once again to recall. That is kingdom Animalia, levels of organization, cellular level, and it belongs, and we get an example of the phylum Porifera. That is phylum Porifera. Tissue, organ, or the system. In that you come across radial symmetry, and you come across ctenophora and coelenterata. Bilateral without body cavity, acoelomates, platyhelminthes, with false coelom, that is pseudocoelomates, ascalminthus, with true coelom called as coelomates, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and Chordata. And this is the outline classification of the animals. And this is asked for 5 marks question. This flowchart we have already studied in the previous class also. So remember this, even though you have written the previous one, doesn't matter, you have to write once again in your classwork also. We'll move on to the phylums. The first phylum in the invertebrates or non-chordates we'll be studying is Porifera. Members of this phylum are commonly known as sponges. So commonly Porifera means sponges. You may have, what exactly are you going to study here? In your schools studied, to wipe out the board, they'll be using colorful sponges. If you see there, it will have small pores in it. So phylum Porifera means pore bearers. P-O-R-E, pore bearers. Pori means pores, para means bearers. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. Marine means the water which has high percentage of salt content, and mostly asymmetrical. This term I think you have already learnt in the organization factors. Asymmetrical is a condition in which organism cannot be cut into 2 equal halves. Clear? Asymmetrical means organism cannot be cut into 2 equal halves. These are primitive multicellular animals and they show cellular level of organization. So what I told in the previous class, you should be prepared for the terms which is already explained. Even then, I have explained. I will be telling you here once again to brush up the memory. So sponges are showing the cellular level of organization. Sponges have a water transport or canal system. It's very important point. If you say porifera, if you write characteristic features, means compulsory features, this you have to write also. Sponges have a water transport or canal system. Water enters through the minute pores called ostia in the body or small inlets. It leads into a central cavity called as spongocoel, from where it goes out through the ossiculum. So here the water makes its entry through a small pore called as the ostia. It leads into a cavity called as spongocoel, and from the spongocoel, the body cavity, water is flushed out through the main opening, which is called as the ossiculum. So this channel of movement of water is called as the water canal system. It helps in transport and it helps in capturing of the food. It also helps in the process of respiration. It also helps in the process of excretion and also helps in the process of reproduction to some extent. This pathway of water transport for gathering, food gathering, respiratory exchange and removal of the waste. Choanocytes or collar cells lines the spongocoel and canals. Underline this. Choanocytes or collar cells lines the spongocoel and the canals. So there they play an important role in holding the food material. Digestion is intracellular. So here this is a new term I am introducing you. I will explain this. Digestion is intracellular. Intracellular means the food is getting digested inside the cell. Okay, this is one of the method, intracellular. Extracellular means it is not outside the body, but it is inside a cavity actually. So intracellular means digestion that takes place outside. Sorry, intracellular takes place inside a cell. Inside a cell. Extracellular digestion takes place inside a cavity. Inside a cavity. The body is supported by skeleton made up of spicules or spongin fibers. So the body needs a shape and it needs a little rigidity that is given by spicules or spongin fibers. Spicules or spongin fibers. Sexes are not separate, that is the hermaphrodites. Eggs and sperms are produced by the same individual. So hermaphrodite means organism which has the capacity to produce both male and female reproductive unit. That is nothing but egg and the sperms respectively. Egg and the sperm respectively. Sponges reproduce asexually by fragmentation. Asexual is also one of the methods, that is without involvement of the sex cells. Fragmentation, that is the body breaks into pieces, that pieces will develop into new individuals. Sponges survive by fragmentation, sexually by formation of gametes. Sexually by formation of gametes. Fertilization is internal and development is indirect. Fertilization is internal means the fertilization takes place inside the body. Development is indirect means the young ones doesn't resemble the parent. It undergoes the larval stage. So this, if a larval stage is seen in between the young one and the adult, then we call it as indirect development. So fertilization is internal, that is, it takes place inside the body. Development is indirect. Remember, this is very, very important because it shows the presence of the larval stage, which is morphologically distinct from the adult. Structurally, they will be different. They are not visible. Very simple to make you understand. You would have heard about frogs. Is that in the frog, the young one is called as a tadpole. It looks like a fish. It doesn't look like a frog at all. So there, when you come across the presence of a larval stage, then we call the development as indirect. So here also the sponges shows the presence of indirect development. That is, it shows the presence of a larval stage. Example, Cycon, Spongilla, and Euspongia. Cycon is Scypa, Spongilla, freshwater bath sponge, and Euspongia is bath sponge. So these are some of the examples for phylum Porifera. You can see that A, B, C, what you saw in the example mentioned. We have the three representatives of the sponges. Clear? So A, B, C, what I mentioned in the previous slide, you have the representation of the diagram of the specimen. The first specimen, Cycon, you will be studying in your lab classes also. Second one is Euspongia. Third one is Spongilla. Clear? Phylum Coelenterata. It is also called as Cnidaria. Phylum Coelenterata or Cnidaria. This is a very interesting phylum where it shows more of advancement in the development. You would have studied in your lower classes about Coelenterata. Here you will rebrush once again the characteristic features about phylum Coelenterata. They are aquatic, means they live in water. Aquatic means they live in water. Mostly marine, which means that they have the presence of the water having more salt content. The water having more salt content. Sessile or free swimming. Sessile or free swimming, which means that sessile is they are fixed to a substratum. They are fixed to a substratum. Free swimming means they will float in the water. They are not fixed to any substratum. Free swimming and radially symmetrical animals. Radially symmetrical animals, which means radially symmetrical means the organism can be divided into two equal halves in any plane. Radial symmetry means the organism can be cut into two equal halves in any plane. The name Cnidaria is derived from cnidoblast or cnidocytes. Why it is called Cnidaria? Coelenterates are also called as cnidarians because of the presence of cnidoblast or cnidocyte cells, which contain a stinging capsule or nematocyst. Stinging capsule or nematocyst present on the tentacles and the body. Present on the tentacles and the body. Cnidoblasts are used for, what is the function of cnidoblast? They help in anchorage. They help in fixing themselves to the location where they are safe. And defense. For example, there's an enemy around it. It helps to project all the medoblast cells at a time and terrify the enemy. Terrify the enemy. And for capture of prey, the medoblast cells jets out, stings the prey, and paralyze the prey, and capture the food, get it to the tentacle. From tentacle, it will move to the mouth. Exhibit tissue level of organization. Exhibit tissue level of organization. I think you know the organism as division of labor. Division of labor under diploblastic. Diploblastic, which means it has the presence of only two germ layers. Outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm is not there, but mesoglia. One term we have already used is called a mesoglia. And internally, we come across the presence of endoderm. So here it is diploblastic in nature. It has two germ layers, outer ectoderm and inner endoderm. In between outer ectoderm and endoderm, you show the presence of a component which is called as mesoglia. They have a central gastrovascular cavity, that is GVC, gastrovascular cavity, with a single opening is called as a hypostome. Means the food makes its entry through the hypostome, undigested thing also comes out through the hypostome only. So it has only one opening, which means to say that the digestive system is incomplete. Both inward and outward movement is happening through the hypostome, and hence the digestive system is incomplete. It shows a special cavity called as the gastrovascular cavity. Digestion is extracellular and intracellular. I think now you will understand. Intracellular means digestion that takes place inside the cell. Extracellular digestion takes place inside a cavity. So here the cavity what we are talking is GVC, gastrovascular cavity. Gastrovascular cavity. Some of the cnidarians, example corals, are skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate. I think you have heard about this Kannada term called as havala. You have seen this green and red havalas. That red and green havalas is nothing but the coelenterates, and this coelenterates have the presence of the organisms present in that particular corals. You can see the diagrammatic view of the medoblast. It has a cavity and it has a sting. Examples of coelenterate indicating outline of the body form. Aurelia is the medusa form, that is umbrella shape. Adamsia is the polyp form. Means here the organisms are of two types. One is medusa and polyp. Medusa is umbrella shaped and free swimming, whereas Adamsia or polyp is the sedentary one or fixed one. Sedentary one or the fixed one. So there are two forms in coelenterates. One is the umbrella shaped free swimming organisms are called as the medusa, and the one which is cylindrical and sedentary in nature, which is called as the polyp form. So examples of coelenterate indicating outline of their body form. Aurelia is medusa, Adamsia is polyp in nature. Cnidarians exhibit two basic body forms, that is polyp and medusa. The polyp is a sessile and cylindrical form like hydra, adamsia, whereas the later ear is nothing but the medusa is umbrella shape, free swimming like Aurelia or jellyfish. Those cnidarians which exhibit in both forms exhibit alternation of generation. So alternation of generation is a one mark question, metagenesis. Alternation of generation. Those cnidarians exist in both forms, that is polyp and medusa. That alternation of generation, we call it as metagenesis. Polyps produce medusae asexually and medusae form polyps sexually. So this kind of alternation of generation, we call it as the metagenesis. Call it as the metagenesis. Those cnidarians which exist in both forms exhibit alternation of generation. That is, alternation of generation is called metagenesis. That is, polyps produce medusae, that is umbrella shape, asexually. Medusae form the polyps sexually. Example, Obelia. So this kind of alteration of generation, we call it as metagenesis. So here you have to remember both the thing, that is a polyp and medusa form, and you have to know the difference between both, and you should know what is metagenesis. Both are 2 marks questions, or sometimes individually it is asked also for 1 mark question. Clear? So Physalia, certain examples I'll show you. Physalia is a scientific name. Portuguese man of war. Adamsia, sea anemone. Pennatula, sea pen. Gorgonia, sea fan. And Meandrina, brain coral. These are some of the examples of the phylum Coelenterata. Physalia is also called as Portuguese man of war. Adamsia is nothing but sea anemone. Pennatula is nothing but sea pen. Gorgonia is nothing but sea fan. And Meandrina is nothing but the brain coral. See the examples here. Sea pen, star corals, which is present, and thank you. So I'll meet you in the next session in continuation with the phylums.